Well, we were preparing to free DJ Horne, but now we have to deal with the fallout of just a slap on the wrist.
You are Locked On Wolfpack, your daily podcast on the NC State Wolfpack, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, Wolfpack Nation? It's time to get locked in with Locked On. Thanks for making Locked On Wolfpack your first listen each and every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers can get $150 back in bonus bets guaranteed when you place just a $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get started. Happy Thursday to all. As always, I'm Grayson Boone, joined by former Wolfpack defensive tackle Kenton Gibbs. As I mentioned, DJ Horne actually is in fact free. There you go. DJ Horne is free, as you see from Kenton's sign here. He was officially reprimanded by the ACC on Wednesday for his gesture at the end of the second half against Wake Forest. Of course, by now, we've all seen the screenshots. It was a very funny moment. It made it across some of the biggest platforms on Twitter. Yeah. Was it unnecessary? Yes. Was
Extremely.
It a moment? Yes. Was it very funny? Also, yes.
Obviously, yes. Yeah.
Certainly can't make a habit of doing such a thing, but I did actually think that the ACC got this right in not dealing out a suspension. Now, I expected them to, because I didn't have some faith that they wouldn't. But a heat of the moment type thing, the officials were horrible all night. Maybe in the call for no suspension here, it's almost like a head nod from the ACC saying, okay, we get it. Not going to hit you with a 1-game suspension because we too saw what was going on in Raleigh. All in all, he is technically free, but just a slap on the wrist to go about his way.
In the words of Family Guy, the bird is the word. Now, very seriously, this is a moment where, I hope DJ learns from this. I hope the team learns from this and realizes the ACC will crack down. I mean, yes, you get away with a slap on the wrist here, but, it's one of those moments where you could have cost your team the inability to have you. And let's just be honest. Right now, we need all the scoring we can get. We need all the scoring we can get. We cannot afford to have one of our lead guards out because of something so silly when the game is already put away. You know what I mean? Like I can understand if we're talking about diving for a loose ball and it's just the optics of what actually happens or what much worse what it looks like or something like that, or like you're going for the ball on a fast break and you and the guy that had the ball get tangled up. Sure. We're talking flipping the bird with 2 seconds left. Come on, man. Come on, brother. You got to do better. But DJ Horne, never locked up. Proud of you. Beat the suspension, beat the case. You know what I mean? Want to know in ACC court right now. Let's please not go back, right? And DJ is free, folks.
Officially beat the double bird allegations, but
he beat the double bird.
In all seriousness, we're not trying to be the fun police here, but that is potentially an extremely boneheaded move in what was already a wild game, because maybe that particular referee doesn't see the gesture, but who's to say one of the other ones doesn't, and then you get teed up from one of them. So, I mean, again, certainly cannot make a habit of it. That type of thing in itself, just you don't want to go down that road. Not in that game, not in that moment. It's also a big deal just in a basketball sense because he is our leading scorer. He's been one of our most consistent players, and we got another basketball game that we got to win this weekend against Virginia Tech. And so not losing DJ Horne for that game is maybe a bigger deal than some folks have realized here. But nonetheless, happy to put this in the past. It had its viral moment. I'm sure the screenshots will probably live forever, but happy to see he didn't get more than a slap in the wrist on this one.
Oh, absolutely. And one day, DJ Horne is probably going to be coaching basketball somewhere and lecturing his guys on, hey, you can't let the refs get to you. You got to stay poised. You got to stay locked in. You can't let the refs get you out of your character. And one of those players on his iPhone 45, which would probably be the size of my head, will pull that thing on out and say, "This you? This you, first one? This you?" And he's going to say yes. And I learned from it. And because I made the mistake, you all don't have to. So please heed my warning. Don't make that same mistake, And again, it was a boneheaded move. It was a boneheaded moment. But this isn't for me personally, I'm a big believer in, like, if somebody's getting suspended for something, it should be something that's like egregious or gives one team an advantage over another. And I don't think this fell to either one of those categories. Like, was it stupid? Yes. Was it childish? Yes. Was it unsportsmanlike? Yes. But was it something that to me is like so egregious that you're like, hey, yo, like, what's going on here? Was it an act of violence that, like, oh, there are children in the stands, please? Like, no.
Maybe some other fan bases would have led you to believe, based on some of the other reactions you saw on social media, the pearl clutching, as you probably would have expected to see, has been ridiculous. Both Wake Forest fans, Carolina fans, we've seen it all at this point. But like,
them boys just soft. Two programs with soft chins coming out of nowhere to show us how soft their chins are. We can't believe the sanctity of ACC basketball has been desecrated by those terrible farmers out of old Moo. There should be a shame. The humanity. 2 fingers, Grayson. 2. The humanity. Stop it. Like I said, you got both of you were soft, but I'll give Wake Forest the credit. Normally, they aren't that soft as a program. They're just very small. But the other school, soft. You're soft people. Stop being soft.
Yeah, it's very funny to see fans act like no one on the team that they root for, none of the players would ever think about doing something like this, only to be responded with several pictures of them doing it the locker room or at a party or somewhere else.
On the field, leaving the field at Carter Finley, flipping players off, flipping fans off. Baby, come on. If we can be anything in this life, the first thing we should be is for real. And that, come on now. Again, stop being soft.
If you're going to clutch your pearls, you better make sure you're not also standing in a glass house.
Well, you know how that goes. I mean, I think that analogy may go over some folks' head, though. If you don't necessarily take your actual classes, you may not get to that part of the lesson. But we're not going to go there. That's neither here nor there. I mean, it was decades long, so I'm sure there were lots of kids who just didn't really actually learn what they were. That's neither here nor there. We're not going to go there today. Grace. We're going to move right along.
Coming up next, we have a whole lot of nothing or a whole lot of something after a quick word from our sponsors. Our first sponsor of the day is eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience, that's what brings home the winning trophy. But it's also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. From superchargers to roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more, whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay's Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. That's because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber and not cash. With the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. Our second sponsor of the day is LinkedIn. At the start of the new year, every small business owner is asking themselves the same question. What's the one move that I can make that'll take my business to the next level in 2024? Well, LinkedIn Jobs knows that your success all depends on the team that you surround yourself with. That's why LinkedIn Jobs has created the tools to help find the right professionals for your team faster and for free. LinkedIn isn't just another job board. They have a vast network of more than 1 billion professionals, which makes it the best place to interview and hire. Hiring is easier when you have that many quality candidates. So easy, in fact, that 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within just 24 hours. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs number 1 in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. LinkedIn also knows that small businesses are wearing so many hats that they might not have the time or resources to hire effectively. So thankfully with LinkedIn, the process is intuitive, quick, and easy. So post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. That's linkedin.com/lockedoncollege to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Middle portion of our Thursday show. It's now time for a whole lot of nothing or a whole lot of something. First one here, as we saw on Tuesday night, it quickly became the Ben Middlebrooks game. Ben Middlebrooks is now actually the team leader in field goal percent after the win against Wake Forest with 56.9% from the field. Whole lot of nothing or whole lot of something?
Whole lot of something. I talk a lot about the team's depth and how multiple guys can get it done and whatnot. Ben Middlebrooks being as efficient as he is, it's a whole lot of something for this team, because if that efficiency were to go away, we'd be looking at some problems. Not only does he make shots, but he takes good shots. He takes a lot of really good shots. Whole lot of something.
I'm not sure it's a whole lot of something, but I think it's at least a little bit of something. Of course, being that most of his points come in the field goal percentage is going to be higher than someone like a DJ Horne, for example. But this does speak to the recent play of Middlebrooks. He has been, honestly, a little bit of a saving grace for the Wolfpack in the last couple weeks. The amount of energy he provides when he comes into a game, you can't really get that from any other person on the bench, so to speak. I mean, came in last night, he gave you 14 points and 6 boards. Without that kind of effort, I don't know if we make that comeback and take that game back from Wake Forest. And so, you know, some of the attitude too, when the bucket that ended up causing the double technicals, he put some stank on it. He turned around, he let Salas know what was up. And I love seeing that type of thing from Middlebrooks. And so it's at least a little bit of something, but he's playing very well right now, and he deserves all the credit in doing so. Second one here, I guess on the flip side, Casey Morsell is 2 for his last 21 from three-point land. His season total has now dropped down to 28%. Whole lot of nothing or whole lot of something?
Whole lot of something. A ton of something. Casey, for Christ's sake, please. I don't know what's going on. I have no clue what is happening, but we need to figure this out. It boggles the mind how you get better every year from deep. And this year it's like an absolute, it's one of the worst cases of the yips I've seen in quite some time. The beauty of it is there's still time to break it. There's still time to, I mean, hey, the law of averages, if he goes back to averaging what he averaged last year or even the year before, that means that he's about to have a Danny Greenish streak of not, and I hate to say relate him to a Tar Heel, but the reality is that the man was known for hitting open threes for a very long time. He may have one of those streaks where he doesn't miss for quite some time, but it's been rough.
It's a whole lot of something because he's been hitting a whole lot of nothing. And maybe it's a funk, maybe it's a slump, maybe it's the yips, maybe it's all three, but he's losing a lot of confidence as well. You know, he actually didn't even attempt a three against Wake Forest. I thought that was a little bit peculiar, especially because he had a couple open looks and then immediately passed them up to make an extra pass or try and drive. And so It just doesn't quite feel like Casey Morsell right now. And of course, what he does bring on the defensive end is still valuable, even when he is struggling offensively. And that's probably why he's still getting 30 plus minutes a night. But I don't know. I do think you kind of reached the point where maybe he should see his minutes dip a little bit, because when you have a guy like Middlebrooks or like O'Connell that they're coming in, they're making instant positive impacts, it becomes harder to justify keeping Casey out there as long as he has been. Mentioned this on Tuesday's show. One of these times he's going to break through. I have confidence in his shooting ability. He has it. It's just maybe a confidence issue, a little bit of a slump, whatever it may be. One of these games he's going to break through. Maybe it's this weekend against Virginia Tech. It's coming. I know that it's coming. You give him enough opportunity, he's going to knock him down. And once you see one go through the hoop, you might see 4 or 5 go through the hoop. So he's really going through it right now, but we're going to have to see if he can turn this thing around. Last one here. MJ Rice did not register a minute against Wake Forest, and his minutes have been dwindling lately as well. Whole lot of nothing or whole lot of something?
Whole lot of something. This is beyond his play. There's something happening here that is beyond his play. And y'all know me, I don't do speculation, so I'm not going to speculate. I'm not going to over-index into like, oh, he didn't look as excited as the rest of the team, whatever the case may be and whatnot. I'm just going to talk about what I have objectively seen with my own 2 eyes. We have needed somebody who could get to the rim and get us a buck. He has not been in. Why not? Something beyond basketball, beyond purely the on the court stuff is happening here. And hell, the other stuff could be seeping over into the on the court stuff, because I've seen firsthand when players feel slighted or when coaches feel slighted by a player, whatever the case may be, if there's something that happens to where there's just a misalignment there to where, all right, guys start to have feelings towards one another, it gets to the point where that starts to affect the way that a player plays. That starts to affect the way that that player is coached. It starts to affect all of it. So I'll say a whole lot of something, because that young man has an ability that we need to be using, especially with the way that we struggle from deep as of late.
It's quickly becoming a whole lot of something. And following your lead here, I don't want to get into some speculation either, but he doesn't quite look bought in, I guess you could say. And I've seen some shots of him on the bench, like in a timeout, you see him kind of standing off to the side. Just the look on his face, the body language, you can see it. He's not quite checked in. At least that's what it looks like. And so, again, maybe it is something off the court. Maybe it's something on the court. But when we have seen him recently, we've talked about it. It doesn't seem like he's played to his strengths. And I don't know if that's by design from some coaching, or he's just freestyling out there and it's just not going well. But we're kind of reaching a crossroads here, and you're wondering, well, is he going to make an impact this year? Because, I mean, what better time than right now? Because in games like Wake Forest or games like Notre Dame and parts of the UNC game where we need a spark from somebody, and you know that he has it in him. One way or another, he has that spark in him. Can we get that from him is now become the biggest question. Are we going to see enough of him that he can be a spark? I don't know. That we of course do not have that answer. Does he have the answer? Does Coach Keats have the answer? We're going to need to find out sooner or later, because again, this is crunch time in the ACC. We're now 6 games into the ACC schedule, and it's going to heat up real quick. So if he's going to make a difference this year, the time needs to be now.
I think the worst part about the whole deal there is the way in which he started off the season.
Right.
Against UMass, you're looking at 11 points, 6 rebounds in 10 minutes. 5 of 6 from the field, made the only 3 he took that game. And then it's just like nothing. Radio silence after that. And that's a tough call. That's a really tough one to get over.
The recent games he's come in, he's jacked up a couple ill-advised threes. The next thing you know, you don't see him again the rest of the night. I just can't fathom like that. Why is that what we've seen from him recently? It just doesn't make sense at all. When you're that strong and you're that physical and you have the athletic ability that you have, why are you not utilizing that to get into the paint against teams that cannot defend you if you try to do so? He would have eaten up Wake Forest if he got in that game. I do believe that, because we found that weakness and we continued to exploit it. We have 50 points in the paint.
Yeah.
We certainly didn't score anything outside, but we had 50 points in the paint. You know that MJ Rice could have very easily contributed to that. So I don't know. It has very quickly become a head scratcher, and I would certainly like to get to the bottom of it sooner than later here. Up next, we're going to be talking about the women's team on the road in Miami tonight, after a quick word from our sponsor. Our third sponsor of the day is FanDuel. The NFL divisional round is coming up this weekend, and what an insane week of college basketball it's been as well. There's still time, though, to get in on the action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $150 back in bonus bets, guaranteed. It's a lock when you place just a $5 bet. That's right, $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. It's a win-win scenario, literally. The app is super easy to use, and there are so many different ways to bet, including live same-game parlays, finding bets within the new Explore tab, and making a parlay within the Parlay Hub, which is the best way to find the most popular parlays on FanDuel. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and make your first bet a layup. FanDuel, the official partner of the NFL. Last couple minutes here on Thursday. The women's basketball team will be down in Coral Gables this evening, taking on the Miami Hurricanes. The Lady Pack are now 15-1. They're ranked number 4. A little bit of talk about whether or not they should be ranked over Colorado, who came in at 3 this week. But nonetheless, Another tough road ACC test for the women's basketball team. Miami, on the other end of the spectrum, have been struggling in ACC play. I believe they're 1-4. They've lost their last 2. Just another example of Westmore taking his team on the road, and you have to just take care of business. No funny business, no messing around. Take it to him from the jump. You should win this one relatively easy, so to speak.
These are two teams heading in opposite directions with all due respect. This is a Miami team that they started off the season so hot, and you thought to yourself, no Cavender twins, no problem. Next thing you know, you look up, and it's like they're getting the wheels whooped off them by everybody. I think all in all, this is a lot like the Louisville game for the men's team. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that the Miami women's basketball team is as bad as Louisville. I'm not saying that in any way, shape, form, or fashion. But I'm saying this is if you want to get into the 1 seed line, if you want to accomplish the goals that you want to accomplish, if you want to get that double bye in terms of the ACC tournament, you have to win a game like this.
No, and that's the perfect way to put it. To get to where you're trying to go, this should just be another day in the office. You go down there, you take it to them as soon as you get off the bus. You out-rebound, you out-hustle, you make the extra pass, and Miami will not be able to hang with you. The level that these ladies are playing at right now, there are very few teams that can hang with them, and Miami is not in that category. So certainly expecting to take care of business down in Miami tonight, hoping to light it red for the women's basketball team on Thursday.
Absolutely. I mean, again, this shouldn't be that tough of a game. When you look at this Miami roster top to bottom, you see a lot of the similarities with NC State in terms of you see a lot of depth. You see a lot of players who can get it done in a lot of different ways. But with that being said, I don't think that they have the horses in the stable to keep up. They're a very long team. They cause problems defensively because of that length. But with that being said, I think that we have enough offense to get over the hump against a team that has they have multiple stretches where to say that their shooting is a little off kilter would be generous, to say the least. It would be very generous, to say the least. And so all in all, this team has to get it done here.
That'll do it for us here on Thursday. As always, thank you all so much for tuning in with us. Make sure to hit that like button. Drop your comments in the comment box. Of course, we have Fan Friday coming up on Friday, so I need plenty to choose from for that. And as always, mash that subscribe button if you have not already, or continue to spread the word about us. We're continuing to grow this channel. We've gotten tons of amazing support from Wolfpack Nation. Looking for more of that each and every day. We'll see you all tomorrow. Until then, go Pack.
Go Pack.